Hello, hello. It's a beautiful day and happy Friday, everyone. I wanted to get ready to kick off this live with our wonderful guest, Lou. And let's see if she can join us in a second here. All right, here we go. Let's see. That might be his buzz. Nope, not yet. Okay. Here we go. Hey,
Hi.
you made it.
Yeah, I made it.
Yeah,
I'm not late.
yeah, yeah. How are you?
Good,
Good.
good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Lou.
Yeah.
I am so happy to have you on as a guest today because I feel like there's a lot we can talk about as producers. Um, First, if you could introduce yourself a little bit, maybe a little bit of your bio and what you do.
Sure, sure. So my name is Wang-Holborn. I'm originally born and raised in Beijing, China, and moved to the States, to New York. I think it's in early 2013, so it's like 11 and a half years ago. So I
Uh-huh.
initially moved here to study international affairs at the new school. It's a graduate school.
Yeah.
And yeah, so and then like I kind of like made my way into production accidentally, but now it's like I'm seeing the full circle. Like even though I didn't go to film school, I didn't study films, but
Hmm.
what we're doing, like producing and also storytelling, is multidisciplinary. So like everything actually come together. And what I'm really interested is actually what I was interested back then in school, like at grad school. Like a lot
Right.
of them about like cross cultural and like transnationalism, like identity, like a lot of stuff have like intersects with each
Yeah.
other. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, so right now I'm really happy, like, exploring my career, still like trying to build my career in producing,
Hmm.
in actually every form. So like my background before like was in like public relations. When I was in China, I had a few years experience, and that's
Hmm.
how kind of brought me into production per se at the first place. But it was like initially like doing more editorial, commercial, branded content work. But
Ah.
yeah, so like right before COVID, I started doing more production work, like in narratives, like just working in the production team. And
Mhm.
then like I'm like really interested in nonfiction storytelling, and then start
Right.
producing documentaries.
Wow.
So it's kind of like all over the place, and it's
What was your first job then in production? Like that kind of helped you cross over from
yeah,
it was it international affairs
yeah,
to
yes,
filmmaking?
yeah. So it's like it's actually when I was in China, actually, like when I was in like a
Hmm.
public relations, like I had a lot of like on-set experience, but as a client. So kind of
Ah,
representing the
client
client.
side.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's not like really new to me, like to be on set
Uh-huh.
or to know like what production is, but it's
Hmm.
just really different. Like you are more focusing on the content creation, and making sure the creative is executing well. But when I
Right.
moved to the States, like my first production work was actually like this, because at the time there's a lot of overseas shoots from China, so they will
Mm-hmm.
like fly in their crew and talent and just shoot like kind of like a travel program, and they will have different themes. And the first production work I did was like kind of music themed, and
Hmm.
they want to like need a fixer to help like secure some locations, but
Ah,
it's non-fictional but with script. So like a
yes.
travel show, and I had no idea, like I had no connection with those like venues or like artists, like music producers.
Right.
But like I just thought, yeah, I'll just cold email them and just let them know what we're looking
Your
for.
locations, your
Yeah,
location scouting.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you, I saw
Yeah.
your post yesterday. I was
Yes.
like, totally relate to it. You have
That's how it
no idea
starts.
what it
Yeah.
entails, but you have the skill sets. You know how to communicate with the people. So I think that's really important. Like, like when you just started in the industry. So like,
Hmm.
because all the skill sets we have it, it's just like we don't have the experience in this
Right.
industry.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how I started, just like by
Mm.
co-emailing people.
Right.
And I still remember for that travel show, like we managed to shoot at Other Music. Do you remember Other Music? It doesn't exist anymore. They closed down. But like, yeah, like after we shot it, but it's like a really cool, like the Salvanos records. It's pretty iconic place in the city. Yeah, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
through cold emailing or like calling
Right.
them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then just being like, yeah, we'll be there with a camera, some actors, we'll be recording sound. We might need some parking. Yeah, it's interesting. You're just kind of planning the expectations for them to rent. It's like you give us money and or we give you money, you give us
Yeah,
space, and yeah, yeah, it's a
exactly.
funny way to get started
Yeah.
in producing.
Yeah, I still
Oh,
remember like on that first job, and then there were like one location asked about call sheet, and I was like, "What is call sheet?" Like I have to Google, like because
right.
I hadn't dealt with it, from
Yeah,
client side.
yeah.
So it's like, okay, yeah.
That
So
is
it's a learning
funny.
curve. Yeah.
It totally is. Wow, that's funny. And then was there like, because you were basically location scouting, did you talk to the production people who were there and they were like, "Oh, you're not part of production." Like, how did you, like, would you like to be? And
No, because
or
I
it
was like
just
basically like for those like those shoes in the beginning, I'm like also a fixer. So I'm doing the fix as well. So
right,
like just
right,
only one person is me, one man team.
just you. I
Yeah.
see.
So it's
Well,
like, yeah, like those were easier because they were like they fly in and they bring equipment, but then they
mhm,
keep changing like scales up. So I'm just building the skills along the way, and then
right,
also like start collaborating with other people, and that's how I kind of make my way officially into the
right.
industry. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Wow. Now, do you feel like you mentioned something about how you feel like there was a moment where there was a crossover between the themes, like the purpose of why you got into filmmaking and the purpose of why you got into uh, what was it, public relations or
International affairs, that's
international
what I
affairs?
studied
Like,
at grad school.
what do
Yeah.
you feel like was that common thread that you were like, oh, like they're both kind of telling stories is like what we're both doing in different industries. Like,
Yeah.
could you
Yeah.
talk more about?
I
Yeah.
think it's really when I start producing, because when we're in production, if it's commission work or it's gig, it's like we just more about like execution, like the production side. But
Hmm.
sometimes we don't really get into too much in the creative or the producing side, and it's also sometimes just for marketing, like promotions. But when I started producing documentaries 4 years back,
Hmm.
and because there's a lot of like how you build a story, and you are like you're telling the real person's story, and there
Hmm.
are themes you want to explore. It's not just like a biography of their life, but they also live in the context of like the politics, like the economic socioeconomic
Yeah.
context, and
Yeah.
there requires a lot of research. So like
Hmm.
I realized, okay, that's what really like excites me. I love researching. I love like, diving deep into different like, like start reading stuff
Yeah.
for like, the story, and just like getting more like learning more about your protagonist and also the stories you want to explore, the themes you want to explore
Mhm.
in the documentary. And I think it really helps for producers, even though it's like I'm collaborating with the director. It's like up to the director how to tell the story. But like producer has a lot of like creative input,
Mhm.
you know, when you have this close collaboration with your director, your partners. And also like how we want to like, especially when we pitch, you know, like even though it's like kind of part of the marketing, how we sell the film,
Mhm.
but it's also like get to know the bigger picture, the context, because we are like telling the story in front of audience and they are just like us. So like how you communicate this, and
Mhm.
also like, you know, when we have the finished product, how we want to put it up, and making the connection, bridging it with the
Mhm.
audience. Those are totally like from my PR background, you know, like
Ooh, yeah.
creating the message
Right.
and what platforms we're using
Mhm.
and how we start like, you know, making content and make it viral. So it's like something that I'm familiar with from my, you know, the other career, like my
Yeah.
past life. Yeah.
What
But
would you?
because I have that, so like I always try to strategize all the plan, you know, the goals, the message, you know, like always set up the goals first.
Mhm.
And then we come down to like, you know, the different ways
Yeah.
to reach the goal and the platforms, the means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your idea to go into production? Was that very well supported by like family and friends? Like they were all like, "Go for it! Like go ahead and try and go for that," or did you feel like you had a barrier to cross? Both.
Um,
Yeah.
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 I think it's pretty supportive. Like it's like my mom is like my parents are like okay with what I'm doing,
Hmm.
and as long I'm happy, I'm building a career. But I do know like she sometimes even till this day she will like say like, oh, you should learn more about on the business side, maybe get another like MBA degree or whatever. And I would just roll my eyes. It's just like, no, I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. Like, just I like it, learn by doing.
Yeah.
So there's certain parts of like, but I wouldn't say she doesn't support me. Like, she
Uh-huh.
just, you know, like parents have higher expectation, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's not like my old jobs. Like, it's very stable. Like, you just kind of doing this and that.
Right.
Like freelancer, I think it's a little bit trickier for parents to understand what
A
it
hundred
is.
percent.
Yeah.
Yeah. The freelancing sort of idea, especially if your parents didn't come from a freelancing point of view, they just don't get like how do you pay for health insurance and all of that?
Yeah.
Like, where do you, like, how are you supposed to know what's happening next month? And it's like, I don't, I don't. um, yeah, but I think that's great. You know that you had your mom to encourage you and to not like basically say no, because I feel like that happens a lot. It's just very sort of dream crushing, and it's like I would never raise my kids that way.
Yeah.
Like to be to give them the better life, the next generation, and to give them that freedom to choose is such a thing that I feel like it only gets it only happens with like it happens with like immigrants a lot,
Mm,
immigrant families. Like they came here for a better life.
yeah.
They may have a harder job, but and that's why they're not sure of you going freelance. But then in the end, it's like they did come here to help make you
Yeah.
happy, or you know, to have a happier sort of outcome, hopefully, a better life. Do you have a certain skill set that? So you said you love researching. Is there a certain skill set that you feel like is so important for a producer?
Communication.
Okay, yeah,
But
I
I
don't know
think
what that is.
communication
I'm
skills,
horrible.
I think it's like it's a bigger umbrella,
Yeah.
and it comes with all different like little like sub skills, I would say. But
Uh-huh.
communication is so important. I think
Mm,
it's like more about like transparency, like, you know, being really transparent and clear, like communicate it clearly so everyone is on the same page. There's no miscommunication or like discrepancy
right.
in like certain understandings of
Hmm.
you know, the deliverables and the production aspects. And also like I think also like if we break it down into communication, it's like how you talk to people and in different ways, like how you approach like your collaborators, how you approach with crew, like so that they feel safe,
Hmm.
they feel comfortable, they feel like wanting
Yeah.
to be part of the team.
Yeah.
So it's like you want them to be heard, but you also want to like make it clear like what our goals are, what are the challenges, you know.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think that's like what I meant by like how to talk to people. And also like as producers, like we have to deal with so many like vendors, you know, locations like rental houses, or like say like participants, right, like above the line. So it's like how you tell them what you ask them for,
Yeah. Yeah.
how, and
Right.
also knowing what they need and what they care about. So it's
Yeah.
like being
Yeah.
very sensible and, you know, like, and trying to bridge the gap. So
Hmm.
that's what that meant for communication.
Hmm.
And also it's like our job is so detail oriented. So sometimes like me personally, I may overkill sometimes. I maybe just like send emails, too many emails, you know, every time we change or blah, blah, blah. But I try to like, you know, fill in
Well,
the gap so that there's no surprise that people will say, oh, I
exactly.
didn't know that,
Get
you
it in
know?
writing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That way you're both clear. You can both reference back to something. That's probably one of the biggest things where I think I've seen some other like coordinators and people that I work with, or even on the client side,
Mm,
they will call you and give you like a whole list of things to
mm,
do, and then you have to write it down and send it back in an email, just to be like, just to recap,
mm.
this is what you just said, right? If that's what I'm hearing. And that's something that I've had to learn over the years. Definitely didn't do that in the beginning. I
Yeah.
was just like, okay, and then I would do it, and then they'd be like, what is this? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. It's very
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. What's so if you didn't come from like the film school sort of filming background, like what are
Mm,
some of the things that you feel like was is an inspiration? Like, is there any sort of films? I mean, I'm gonna ask this later, but I might as well ask it now. Like, what are like some of the top sort of like films or even art pieces that probably fueled you on and inspired you to be like, yeah, I wanna do that in this field?
yeah. I think I always like films, and
Hmm.
also like my undergrad is so bizarre. My undergrad it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
And
it's
like my college, my
oh
major, I went to this uh broadcasting university in China. So like
yeah.
where all the people who want to work in film and TV, mainly TV, like go to that college.
Hmm.
And my major, I majored in like film translation, so like subtitle
Okay.
titles translation. It doesn't exist anymore. Um, but I was like, because at the time, like when China still like, you know, showing those like foreign language films,
Uh-huh.
and they like in the beginning they all dubbed. So like when I was younger, like opening TV and watching all those like European or American films, they're all dubbed. And I was like so little, I thought like, oh my God, those like foreigners, they speak Chinese.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a
Yeah.
little bit background, so
Right.
that's why like, you know, there's this major like for dubbing and translation. So
Uh-huh.
like you have to put the subtitles on like when it's in the theaters for sure.
Right.
um yeah, so like I thought it was okay, I can, you know, be nerdy, I can like watch a lot of films, but actually
Hmm.
not, you know, like it's more about like English literature, like Chinese literature and language. But it also
Hmm.
helped because like right now I'm still doing like some interpretation like translation work, and it really helped me, like the training really helped me. But anyways, like I think I always like growing up, I'm always interested in films, like I love watching films.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like always like kind of interest into art, and especially in high school there's like certain like moments like, you know, start really digging into like non-Chinese films,
Hmm.
and then like exploring like, you know, different genres and classic, why not, and also in college. So
Hmm.
I think it's always part of my interest, like films is always part of my interest, but I
Hmm.
really never thought I would be in filmmaking.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
really like after I moved to the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a very artistic sort of viewpoint of how of your role in producing, and I see some of that bleeding into other parts of your life. You have something called the Chinatown Mural
Mural
Project.
project.
Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that and how you got involved with that also?
Right, right. So like I have a really good friend. Her name is Peach Tao, and
Hmm.
she's a really amazing like illustrator and muralist. And like so I know she like doing a lot of mural work, like murals like all through like the US, not just like local.
Hmm.
And during the pandemic, I spent a lot of time in Chinatown, like documenting, the close down, like the struggles, and also like some activism work, and also start being involved into community work in COVID. And
Hmm.
then there was a time, remember in Chinatown, like in right before the COVID, there was a big fire of this historical building on Bowery Street,
Oh,
70 Bowery Street,
uh-huh.
where like Mocha has their archive.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like the building, the top floors all burned down. And then like in 2020, the city, there was a kind of a moment like the city, because the city owns the building and the city want to take it back, to tear it down. So the local community, the activists want to preserve the building, and they want to like organize a rally to like show like this is, it means a lot to the community, like you cannot just do this. And then like at the time there were still like boards up like around the building, and I
Hmm.
just like thought it would be great idea to like paint some murals like in the back and in the rally, so there's something like really pops up
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
rally. So like
Um,
the local organizer like Colin Chen like really like the idea. He's like a long time Chinatown like residents and activists. He
yeah,
said like in the 70s there used to be so many like large scale murals in
yeah.
Chinatown. He always wanted to bring them back. So like when we put up this mural on the board, the construction boards for the rally, everybody loves it. We end
Uh,
up saving it. So like the construction worker, the city said like, oh, we love it. Actually, we won't erase it. So they actually kept
wow.
it for a long time. Yeah, so it was like
Yeah,
really, it really works, and people really kind of boost not only boost the morals, but also like it's just like kind of encouraging and inspiring for a lot of people, because they
yeah,
were still in the hype of the pandemic, and China was really struggling.
yeah.
So that's the starting point of like, oh, let's try to like put up more permanent like or long-term murals.
Hmm.
And Carlin started to kind of communicate with some building owners in 2020, in the summer of 2020, and from then on we start putting up more murals,
Wow. Oh, that's
whimsical.
so cool.
Yeah, but the intention at the beginning was trying to like attract more people to come back to Chinatown to eat, just like spend their time there, and then they
Yeah.
can like, those are like Instagrammable spots, and
Hmm.
then they can post on social media, and just to show like
Right.
like how beautiful our neighborhood is, our community is, and all those like murals reflects our culture
Hmm.
and also the community, not
Yeah.
only the Chinese community. There was one we just recently touched up, is on Orchard and Canal Street, and that's that neighborhood used to be a lot of Jewish, so like we put up this mural of like pigeon play mahjong, because like mahjong is also popular in the Jewish community. So there's a lot of storytelling in the
Yeah.
murals, and we try to be more inclusive and reflect the history
Yeah.
of the neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I can't believe it. That's so by using art, you were able to change the what was about to happen, like that they were going to tear a whole building down. Like you saved the building using
Yeah,
art, not
yeah.
only with the painting, but with by documenting it and getting other people to document it with their phones and their wow, that's so cool. That is really, really cool. Yeah, I'm glad that you're doing that and
Thank
that are you
you.
that you're leading that. How important is it that you have some like how important is it that you have something to schedule outside of like the film work that you do as a freelancer? Like you have your own project that you work on at the same time. Is that the case? Like you switch between like the sort of like contracted jobs and your own thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. We always talk about this. You
Yeah.
are doing this as well. So I'm still learning like time management.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Uh,
that's
what are some things you've learned about time management or that?
um so I think like the importance of like time management is like you have to say no sometimes
Mm,
and also know
mhm,
your boundary and bandwidth. So cuz like there's a project I've been doing. It's about mental health. It's a feature documentary. Like I've been working on it for years, and like I'm being like really conscious about like the mental health aspects in filmmaking and also like
mhm.
self care personally on a personal level. Because I think a lot of time like I was joking with another friend, like a producer friend, it's like we are the bulletproof squad, like producers are bulletproof. But I also feel like we can be vulnerable sometimes, we can slow down. So like I think this is something I'm trying to learn right now. It's just like
Yeah.
I cannot do everything.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
can't. And sometimes it's okay to say no or turn it down or just give yourself a break.
Mhm.
And it's just like the recenter and recharge really helped me become more productive and healthy, like
Yeah.
later on.
Do you do like yoga or
i
tai
do
chi or
I
anything?
do kung fu. I learn Wing Chun, so
Oh,
it's my
Wing Chun.
therapy.
That's
Yeah, it's
right.
my therapy.
Some physical sort of like, and that's also mental, right? A lot of it's the mental game too of martial
Yeah,
arts.
yeah, you're so
Yeah.
right. So it's like
Hmm.
kind of like it's a it's very philosophical. I like the
Hmm.
philosophy of
Yeah.
Wing Chun because it is created and designed for women to,
Hmm.
fight with bigger guys, bigger dudes.
Yeah.
And, by design, we cannot take them down, but how we can kind of win
Yeah.
it is a lot of like pivoting and also like short distance attack and your defense and attack at the same time. And then it's all about the economy, save time, save distance. So it's like, very applied to
Hmm.
producing,
Yeah.
like how
Yeah.
you utilize
Yeah.
those. And like yeah, I try to learn a lot
Yeah.
from my kung fu and apply it into my work.
I think I see that because you approach everything with such a confidence and strength, like an inner strength. So, like for example, when we were shooting our short film Balloon,
Mm,
there was a lot going on, and you were so calm and you were able to talk to me and all the crew members about like all that was happening in such a calm and strong way too. Like you were very very good at leading us um in that project. Like that was a long like 4 days out in the woods, and you did a great
thank,
job.
thank
So
you,
I
thank you. It
noticed
was
that aspect. So that's why I felt very
strange.
confident with you with other jobs that have come around, which will not be named. Yeah, yeah. Well, I have I think just some wrap up questions
Mm,
for you. It's a quick 20 questions. I ask these on every live, but I always forget them. So I need my list in front of me. So bear with me for a
yeah,
second.
sure.
It's
Oh my
just
god.
such a nice day today.
Yeah,
I had to go outside for a little bit, and I love going outside
so
to
jealous of
do.
your
It's,
space.
oh my God, no, not space. Oh, shoot, I'm dizzy. All right,
Mm,
here we go. Here we go. Let's grab my computer.
mm.
Mhm. Just grabbing my computer. Where is it? Did I bring it up here? Nope, it's downstairs. Yeah, that's why you can't live in the city for too long. You can live there for a little bit, and then you gotta get the hell out of there.
You're right.
Yeah, come to Westchester. I can't find my computer. Oh well, this always happens. Oh, how important is it to? Where
Mm.
do you feel like you get most of your work? Is it like through word of mouth? like
Yeah,
director sort of relationship, or like what?
yeah, it's like more of word of mouth, and it's like, like you just gradually build your community and your network
Ah,
through the work.
do you have some tips on that? Do you feel like that's like joining an organization, or is that just kind of like
A doc.
a
So
doc?
for
Shout
doc
out
for
to a doc.
documentary, yeah, for documentary, definitely A doc. So I met so many people through A doc. A lot of them they are doing like all other works outside documentaries, not just documentary, and
Hmm.
it's like very welcoming and sharing community. And you just like a lot of the times when I have shoots, I'll if I need crew recommendations, I'll just post there or like asking for tips. And a lot of people like post like looking for collaborators, etc., like recommendations. And then you just they also
Nice.
host like meetups at every festival or like major like doc events, and then you
Yeah.
can go there and just meet peers in person. And I think that's the great thing ever.
Yeah. 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 I find that there's a group for everyone. Like on if you still use if people use Facebook, there are Facebook like filmmaker groups. I think there are some on LinkedIn,
Mm,
but they're not that active.
mm.
Um, ADOC, like we said, the Asian Documentary
Also, like
Organization is great.
DPA. I think DPA is
EPA,
doing great. Yeah.
Documentary Producers Alliance, which is
Mm-hmm.
great too. Also, they're on the forefront of the crediting guidelines and
Mm-hmm.
really pushing like how producers get credited and paid, and how do we make it sustainable and diverse in this area, because right now it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Film Independent is a good one. The
Yeah.
Gotham
The
in New
golf.
York is
Mm-hmm.
another one.
Mm-hmm.
There's AICP for commercial production. Um, I think Spot Heat. No, wait. No, that's a parking app. Spot Heroes is a parking app. Anyways, um, Media Mavens is one
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
for
Media Mavens
filmmakers.
is great. Yeah.
Um, all right, ready for the rapid fire 20 questions?
Sure.
Okay, answer as quickly as you
Oh
can.
my
Ready?
God. Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Most productive time of day?
Morning.
What time?
I think 9 to noon, probably.
9 to
Yeah.
noon. Wow. Favorite holiday?
Favorite Chinese New Year. Lunar New Year.
Lunar New Year. Favorite color?
Green.
What kind of green?
All kinds of green.
All
All
right.
shades of green. Yeah.
All shades of green. Favorite drink that you would order at a bar?
Ooh. Wine. I cannot handle cocktails. Yeah.
Red or white?
Depends on
I guess it
the
depends.
weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends. Dog or a cat person?
Ooh. Orange cat.
Orange cat. Early riser or a night owl?
Ooh. I'm in between.
Okay. What are you always grateful for?
Grateful for. Ooh, this is a tricky question. Grateful for love and support.
Uh, what do you do for fun?
For fun. I say kung fu training.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you never leave home without?
What? Say it again.
What do you never leave home without?
Oh, phone and
Phone.
keys.
Phone and keys. Favorite thing to say on set?
Ooh, it's a
That's
wrap.
right. That's a wrap Fridays with Shoebox. What is your favorite crafty snack item?
Ooh, fig bar.
A
Yeah,
fig bar? Oh, like
yeah.
a fig Newton bar, like a Newton bar. Okay, that's a good one. Favorite destination that you've ever traveled to?
Ooh, favorite destination ever traveled to? Maybe Thailand. I will go again.
Hmm. What is a book that everyone must read?
Ooh, Can I say two?
Okay, yeah, we'll take two.
Like right now, I think. But it doesn't have to be like early on. It depends on your life stage. Like I'm reading The Art of War by Sun
Mm,
Tzu.
yeah.
I just started reading it. And then also I Ching. I think it's really, really important book and
Wow.
inspired me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Those are some deep historic ancient books. So
Wisdom, wisdom, wisdom.
wisdom. Wisdom is
Yeah.
everywhere, but people don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Um, favorite band or musician?
Oh, there's so many.
Just
Um,
just one that
feel
or
bad. I'm just
one that you've been playing on repeat now.
okay. So I'm going back to my early 20s music now. I would say like the Jesus and Mary Chain. Like is currently
Oh,
I'm still feeling or Pink Floyd. I
Pink
cannot
Floyd.
choose. Yeah. But those are all my older life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But they're
Um,
classic.
they are. What is your greatest fear?
Ooh, I don't have any.
Oh my God. What? Not like bees or spiders or the dark or
Okay.
ghosts or
You're talking about phobia. Then I'll say
being being
rats.
being disabled,
No, no,
uh, being
that's
blind.
fine. No, that's life. You just go with it. But if you
Wow.
say like anything I'm afraid of, it's rats.
Rats.
Yeah.
Okay. Rats. That's a good distinction that what I asked I guess I had asked what's a phobia would be more specific.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Last
mm.
question. What are your top three movies, not necessarily in order?
Okay, like the number one is definitely In the Heat of the Sun. It's a Chinese film,
Hmm.
like in the early 90s probably. That's his
What's the Chinese title?
阳光灿烂的日子.
Okay. Yep.
And then, oh my God, what else do I like?
I'm sure you
It cannot,
have a lot. It's
I have a
just pick
lot,
three.
but
Yeah, just
that
pick
one
three.
is like I would watch it like every now and then.
Uh-huh.
Like I will watch it over and over again. I think that's kind of distinguish of like what I like and
Mm-hmm.
what I like to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All
Yeah.
right, you two more. Two more.
Two
Yeah,
more. I cannot say
yeah. I
it.
said three films.
Oh my God. I'm really bad at those like favorites like questions because I cannot pick favorites.
List two movies
Two
that you.
movies. Oh my God.
Let me rephrase.
I
List.
wish I prepared. I'm like I failed as a like filmmaker. Okay, I'll say a documentary. Like I would say it's like kind of one of my favorite documentary. It's Bing Liu's Mending the Gap
Okay. Yeah. 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 That's a great one. Yeah.
or the Grizzly Bear, like Herzog's
Oh,
Grizzly
yeah.
Bear
Yeah.
is
Grizzly.
also one of my
Yeah.
favorites
Yeah.
of documentaries.
You forgot starring Jerry as himself, but that's okay. That's okay.
Like what?
Um, you forgot starring Jerry as himself.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, sure.
Shout out to you and Jerry. Are we
Oh
gonna
man.
see it soon?
Yeah, so that's supposed to be end of October. They haven't given us a release date yet,
Mm.
but that movie is coming to New York theaters first, as well as it'll be online for streaming and stuff too. Um, well, thank you for your time. That's the end of the 20 questions. That's the end of our time. Is there any films you want to promote? Any sort of like projects you're working on that you want to tell us about before you go?
Um, So one of my feature documentaries is premiering in fall. So I cannot say which festival yet, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so if you're interested, it's about like I can say the log line. So it's about this group. You know that documentary. So it's a group of like senior Asian American dancers in San Francisco, and they like still going on a tour, like performing at senior homes or for charity events. Some of them are like old time Chinatown nightclub burlesque dancers. So it's kind of bridging like the history of the the Chinatown nightclub history, and also like kind of what their life looks like now. So it's very inspiring. It's really is also touching, like feature documentary.
Yeah. Are the dancers they used to dance at the old
Some
nightclub or
of them,
some
some
of them?
of them,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh, okay, cool. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, San Francisco Chinatown's like one of the first Chinatowns I want to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's old. When I went there I was just like, "Oh my gosh." Like, yeah. It's like fresh off the boat. Um all right. Well, oh, you didn't even say the title of
Oh,
the
it's called
movie.
Chinatown Cha-Cha. So we're
Chinatown
also,
Cha
yeah,
Cha.
we're also on
Um,
Instagram. So if you follow us, like we'll announce like those premiere
is it
details soon.
at Chinatown Cha Cha?
Yes, Chinatown. There, Cha-Cha. There's a hyphenate.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone follow that to stay tuned on where it's premiering in a film festival near you. And thank you so much for your time,
Thank
Lou. That was so fun.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Of
me.
course. Have a great weekend, everyone. That's a wrap. Friday. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.